Hey everyone, it's Libby from Maister Tarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people. It's WORIMI, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides, and the universal energies from my boudoir. So thank you for joining me. Okay, first of all, I just want to please, if you are in the mid-north coast region of New South Wales, Australia, or anywhere, because our region is suffering as well, but not quite so bad, please look after yourselves, listen to the authorities. We are having horrific rain at the moment. Record flooding and expected in the mid-north coast region another approximately 300 millimetres over the next 24 hours, which is the equivalent of 12 inches already falling onto flooded areas. So please, as our state premier said, he does not have 9,500 helicopters to do all the rescues if people don't take self responsibility. Apparently, there's already been about 400. I imagine it's more than that now. Flood rescues, one death, three missing. So please do take care. Okay, what do I want to have a look at in this particular reading? Well, first of all, I just want to say I have been losing myself in Time Team lately. I love Time Team, love the archaeology, and gee, it's so just lovely to find some clean air space where I can breathe. So please, in this time, make sure that you indulge in some simple pleasures and take time for yourself and observe, but don't immerse in what is actually happening around the world and in the United States. Be aware, do what you can do, don't worry about what you can't do, and have some downtime, pace yourself. What I want to have a look at in this particular reading is what's happening with the US economy, the stock market. I'm using the Golden Universal Tarot. Just very quickly, target profits are down. Yay, go, go the consumers in regards to Target. They're blaming tariffs, they're blaming their DEI policies, they're blaming whatever. Yeah, well, thoughts and tariffs. That's all I can say. So what's happening is that the US overnight, the US Treasury dumped some bonds to try and raise some capital. I believe it was in the billions of dollars of capital they were attempting to raise. However, what's happened is there was weak demand due to considering that the US Treasury bonds are high risk. So what's happened out of that is that the interest rate that the US has to pay to the rest of the world for its debt has gone up. So therefore, more of the taxpayer income goes towards paying interest rather than paying down debt. The US credit rating has been downgraded from AAA to AAA1, still a okay credit rating, but it has been downgraded. And news has come out that the federal debt ratio to GDP is 123%. So GDP, if you don't understand, gross domestic product, is the total market value of all goods and services produced within a country. So the value of everything that that country produces, whether it's a service or whether it's a physical product, during a specific period of time. So at the moment, the US owes more than what its value actually is. So, for example, if you had a house, a home, that was worth $100,000, it would mean that your mortgage was at $123,000. You owe more than what the house is worth. So this is pretty scary times. Now, with all that news, what's happened is the stock market has had a fall. which affects the 401k. Now, the stock market, yeah, the stock market sort of with those that money have a bit of a play, etc. It also defines the values of businesses and companies. But what happens is the economy often follows the stock market. So, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And the bill that is being proposed to go through Congress does not help because it is lifting the limit of the debt. Okay, but let's have a look. I'm going to have a look at a side snippet of the budget bill in another reading in regards to one of its attachments. But let's have a look. Let's have a look. How's the US economy going to play out over the short term? I'll do short term and long term. My guides always, I was going to say a particular time period, but my guides are always, there is no concept of time in the universal energy. What might feel like years down here is mere seconds in the universal energy and vice versa. So in the earthly realm, short term, how is the US economy going to go? How is the US economy going to go? How is the US economy going to go in the short term? Let's have a look. We want that card. How's the US economy going to go? Central bank is going to, interest rates are probably going to go up. Felon 45 is wanting them to go down. These two cards, when they popped out, I immediately saw, cannot for the life of me think of his name, the one that Felon 45 wanted to get rid of, the Bank of America chief, or the not the Treasury, the Reserve Bank, the Reserve Bank chief. He's got levers that he can use, which is basically interest rates. And that's the only lever that the Reserve Bank can use. Everything else depends on government policy. So just be aware, I think housing mortgage rates will go up. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. US economy in the short term. Come on down. Okay, right, let me just move that, get the light right. Okay. Okay, packing up the swords of truth. Keeping yourself, I'm just going to say keeping your head down. If you don't need it, don't buy it. And there's a big difference between need and want. It's very much, okay, and I'm just going to say entertainment only because I'm not a financial advisor. Very much big difference between need and want. And you need to determine for yourself what is a need, like heating or cooling, water, food, shelter. Needs. Wants are makeup, clothing, new furniture, those toys for the kids or whatever. They're all wants. Needs are the basics for human survival. So this is very much about to get through this period. Keep your head down. Harbour your resources. And also, when we're talking about food, it's also, okay, thank you, wanting me to talk about food. Nutritional and inexpensive. So we're talking about not meat every day, not takeaway, definitely not Uber Eats, that type of thing. High nutrition foods is what they're telling me. And high fiber as well. Okay. Because what you also find is that if you eat low nutrition food, you actually end up eating more because your body is craving the nutrients that it's not getting. So buying frozen chips or something because they are cheaper is not necessarily good economics. It's also not good for your health either. It's good as a treat every now and again. But okay, so this is very much about keeping the head down, harboring your resources to get through this period, and walking away from the emotional wants. So what we've got is 6 and an 8. Yeah, I'm just getting the challenge. The challenge and the obstacle here is going to be walking away from the emotional wants, the buying because of bored, buying because you need a high, buying because you can. Now, even if you do have money, and I know that this is part of what will actually plunge the US into recession is the not spending, because the US economy is based very much on consumerism. But if you don't spend, like no pentacles yet, if you don't emotionally spend, you will have money to help others if necessary, if you already have money, and if you don't, then it will uh, put a buffer for you as well. Okay, just be very aware of your choices. The energy that we're stewing in at the moment, be very aware of your choices in the past, nightmare situation. Now, swords are very much about brutal, honest truths and reality, harsh realities. And what have we got? 3 swords so far and 1 cups. So there's a brutal reality, a harsh truth in the situation at the moment. It's very much about making good choices, sound choices, not spur of the moment, because of what is a nightmare situation. Again, another choice card. No pentacles here yet. This is the here and now. Again, looking at the bigger picture and making a plan, making plans, looking at your options and making choices. So this is very much bigger picture in regards to plans, and have more than one plan, more than one option available to you. If you've got 2 options basically available to you. Make more money, spend less money. That is a choice. Okay? First Pentacle. Because there is going to be news brought forward about the economy. And I think it's going to be a recession. Not a depression, but a recession economy with this page. It's not a ace, it's not a king or a queen, it's a page, a reduced economy. It's not even the knight. The knight is about a stable economy. So I think there's going to be news about a recession that will come through. So just be aware of that. Externally, this is a period of change, dramatic change, and change that needs to happen. Awareness. Externally. Internally, making sure you've got your ducks all lined up in a row. Do a check on your emotional, I'm going to say do a check on your emotional relationship with money, so that you're actually comfortable with the relationship that you have with money. Not a relationship based in fear or adoration or an attitude of lack or an attitude of, what's the word I'm after? It's to, thank you, my guides will pop a word in and take it straight back out again. It's like an attitude of what the heck, got nothing to lose, let me just spend every dime I've got type thing. This is very much what I'm getting here internally. because this is a period of change, dramatic change in regards to monetary attitudes, and I'm going to say on the world stage as well, where consumerism is losing its appeal. We live on a finite world. We cannot have infinite growth. It just, the math don't math. But what I'm getting here is just really do a check on your relationship, your emotional relationship with money, so that you are comfortable with your relationship with money. I worked in a bank in my teens as a teller, and it was a really interesting experience when you're sitting there and you're counting out thousands of dollars in one little bundle. All of a sudden, money isn't a doesn't have a physical connotation anymore. Money's about freedom. It's about the ability to buy the essentials without having to question. It's not a physical item. It's not a hoarding under the bed anymore, although I do recommend you hoard under the bed um, if it will help you in this relationship with money. But I'm getting very much, look, the only one pentacle card so far. It's very much about having an emotional check-in in regards to your attitude. Again, still not another pentacle. The hopes and fears, a plan coming to fruition, having your plan in place. The outcome, because there is going to be a really huge wake-up call for those that are not prepared. Now, for those of you that watch channels like myself and Susan Lynn and Marianne and Rosie and Danny and Denise and, all those that are following quality, well, okay, the little humble me just scoffed at putting myself in that same category. But for those that are aware, we won't get this sudden wake-up call, what the F just happened. But the majority of the population, especially in the United States, will. What's happening is the rest of the world is getting on with being the rest of the world. The United States is going through a really harsh reality where the myth of the US being the center of the universe and being the be-all and end-all, they're finding out that it's not true. And that's financially, and that is regarding trade, and that is regarding leaders in democracy, etc. So, yeah, there's this huge wake-up call coming. We've got the King of Pentacles here, the decrepit old, a wake-up call to the oligarch power base. But also, I'm really looking at this. I mean, this king, you have a look at him, he's literally falling asleep on his throne there. A wake-up call to the old attitudes of wealth hoarding is what I'm getting there. And then we have the King of Action. Look at the difference in the energy of the kings. He's a king of action. He's bringing forth a new plan. He's been bringing forth a new message. So what is this message? Okay. Of manifestation. And then we've got the higher authorities, potentially the government. Okay, the government or the higher authority. Okay, thank you. Right. Before I continue, I've got these cards here, but before I continue, I'm really drawn to the two figures bowing down in front of the government figure here. This is going to be massive wake-up call for those that idolized the dollar. There's a new message, a new, I'm going to say, sheriff in town that's bringing forward a new message. potentially about the manipulation, but also about the manifestation of possibility. And it does mean that bowing down to the government, this has got revolution feels about it, is going to face a volatile message coming out about the poor choices, the adoration of wealth, the adoration of power and greed and money, etc. There is enough on this planet in the United States for everybody. There is enough for everybody to receive their share as long as these oligarchs don't hoard it all for themselves. Okay, opportunity, financial opportunity, actions having consequences. We'll feel beaten, bruised, back up against the wall, but our safety nets will hold, is what I'm getting there. The safety nets will hold. What has gone on in the past may be restrictive, so the gifts from the past will be restrictive, but through community and working together, we'll overcome this craziness. We'll be able to walk this path with this craziness. Okay, so literally for a money reading, I've got what, one, two, did get that card, but so the opportunity for all through giving and receiving of help and community, and we have this decrepit king with this reduced economy. And it's going to be a massive wake-up call, and it is a period of change. So just be aware of what's happening. Where do I go from this? I'm not giving any financial advice. You know your personal situation. What I want to have a look at is, okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story that I was told this morning. One of my beautiful viewers emailed me about this morning. They had been thinking that they were going to lose some of their government benefits in the United States, and really starting to get quite anxious about what do I do next. And out of the blue, their sibling who runs a business elsewhere contacted them overnight, basically, and said, I have a job that needs doing in your area. Can you do it for me? Pays well. And now this particular viewer could have said, oh, no, it's all too hard. I don't, but no, yeah, okay, right. And what I'm really feeling is that, so they've been presented an opportunity and it is up to them whether they took it or not. And what I'm feeling is that if they take this particular opportunity with this particular client, it will lead to more work. And what will happen is, what I'm really feeling is, if they choose to, for that choice, if they choose to expand on this particular job, self-promotion, self-marketing, self-confidence, women are absolutely terrible for underselling ourselves. If only the brightest and best women had half the confidence of a mediocre man. Holy crumbs. If they take this opportunity, and it's been presented and it's up to them whether they do, I really feel it will lead to more work, and therefore they won't actually need the benefits that they're going to lose. Now, I'm not saying that's good for everybody, but I'm just saying keep yourself open for the opportunities. My daughter fell into, my husband works in research, and he needed some schematic drawings done for a paper that was being published, and the person that had been doing the drawings for his research department no longer worked in the area. So he asked my daughter to do them. She did the drawing only because, Dad needed it. And others in his section saw the drawing and were so taken by how good it was. She's got no training whatsoever. I'm just telling you, no training whatsoever. Did it on a iPad tablet thingy with a program that I don't think cost her anything. And next thing she knows, she's been contracted to do schematic drawings for the broader research area. Now, she does have the opportunity now to actually put her name on the published papers and potentially get work from elsewhere in the world. She personally has chosen not to. If somebody approaches, then yes, she will, but she's not going out selling herself because she has other avenues of income that she would rather explore. Personal choice, but the opportunities get presented. You don't have to take them, but you need to be open to them and you need to think them through. So I'm just putting that out there. Will there be, so I'm just going to ask using the same cards, will the US fall into, okay, next question, thank you. Okay, I was going to ask, will the US fall into a recession? It's on the cards. It is on the cards, literally. You've got here the decrepit old king, all in it for himself. It's very much blind reality. I think, yes, it is. Okay, next question. So just be aware, do a bit of research, ask questions of financial advisors or people who actually know what they're talking about. I got an email through this morning. Husband and I have what's called, you guys in the US have 401ks. We call them superannuation funds. You have the choice of setting up a self-managed superannuation fund, but boy, oh boy, are there some strict guidelines around them. Absolutely. And the tax office scares me. The Australian tax office scares me more than the federal police. So trust me, we, by the letter, follow the rules. But we just didn't want to be paying big fees to somebody to manage the money that we were quite capable of managing ourselves in a very legal manner. So we got an email from our specialist accountant and saying that our newly elected government is bringing through some new rules into in regards to the superannuation fund. So yes, I emailed him back and asked a question and promptly got the reply. So mentioned to him that perhaps he needs to let all his other clients know the same question because people will ask. So ask the questions from the specialists that know what they're talking about. Now, I'm not a financial specialist, but this is very much about being prepared and knowing beforehand, but also not panicking. Don't panic about that's why I'm sort of getting into you need to have this comfortable relationship with money because it will prevent you from panicking. Because there is some volatile information that's going to come forward that is going to be explosive for the government and I suspect for the economy as well. Okay, but I want to have a look. One big question is Japan. Their economy's struggling at the moment too. I believe their interest rates have been at zero for decades because Japanese people just don't spend it. They spend, but they don't spend, if that makes sense. Incredibly hard workers. But I want to have a look. Is Japan, so Japan, the government there needs to raise some money. It holds a significant amount of US Treasury bonds. So does China. So Felon 45, stop pissing off these two countries. Is Japan going to sell off US Treasury bonds? Now, if they do, and there is weak demand for them, it will drive the interest rate that the US government has to pay even higher. So let's have a look. The US Treasury bonds, usually seen as stable, now they're 10-year, 20-year bonds. Will Japan sell off? Okay, I'm getting a yes, so I'm going to change my question. Will Japan sell off enough US Treasury bonds to cause issues for the US economy? Let me put it that way. Will Japan, so show me Japan. Pardon me, froggy in my throat. Okay. False night offer, the emotional offer. Will they be selling off enough? So this is the energy they're in. Okay. Right. Thank you. What I'm getting here is that they're going to, they are looking at it at the moment as an income stream. It's an emotional topic for Japan, the debt that they have, the fact that they owe so much in US Treasury bonds, the fact that the US has stabbed them in the back, and I'm not talking about you guys, I'm talking about the regime. So they're looking at their options. It's an emotional subject about an income flow with that waterfall there. It is about self-protection for Japan. They're looking at the money that they hold in these bonds, and I'm just going to say they're considering it. Let's see where this goes. This is the here and now. The energy that they're stewing in is they've been right royally stabbed in the back. They have no loyalty to hold on to them anymore. There is nothing more that the US can do to hurt them other than what the regime has currently done. They feel like they've been betrayed and stabbed, and they've got no more F's to give. Okay, in the past, the US Treasury bonds were seen as the shining example, the light, the star, the investment option that all other investment options looked up to, but that's in the past. Crowning this reading, we've got the Lover's card, the unbalanced partnership, the higher need here, the immediate future, the negotiator, the diplomat. Look, I'm drawn to the look on his face. Some hard decisions that need to be made. Trade with the ship in the background. I'm really getting that so this is the immediate future. It's almost like the Prime Minister of Japan going to see the felon and basically saying, if you don't sort out this trade issue, because Japan probably, I didn't have a look, but I imagine they probably had a free trade deal like just about all the rest of the world. Sort it out, otherwise we'll take action. externally, a heavy message that they're bringing forward. Carrying these wands, the plans, the messaging, trying to get back to the castle with this unruly load. Look at these 2 tens, end of a cycle. And internally, freedom, joy. It's a big yes card as well. I think they're going to. Hopes and fears, the revelation of what was hidden, the outcome, sort of truth coming through, action being taken in regards to the overseas. Plan on overseas. Also 3, remembering that South Korea, China and Japan have been engaged in talks without the USA. I think that yes they will. I think yes they will. I was going to say if the US doesn't come to the party, the US regime, but I don't think the regime's going to come to the party. If I look on the bottom, we've got the moon card, the lunacy, the secrets revealed, path that needs to be travelled. As this new beginning is born, actions having consequences, that's going to bring an ending, significant ending, trampling of the king, an ending of the relationship. They're going to move on. Looking at other options, making agreements with other financial agreements with other entities. Yeah, I think what's going to happen is that Japan is going to basically give the US regime, the Felon 45 regime, the option to get themselves sorted in regards to dealing with Japan, and I don't think they're going to like what is offered, and they're going to take their higher ground and defend their position. And I think that I think they're going to sell them, which means a higher interest rate needs to be paid by the US government, which means less money for you. You either put up the income or reduce the spending. Okay, I might leave that there. Not quite sure if that was helpful at all. It's just pre-warned as pre-armed, forewarned as means you can make plans. Seek out services in your local area that can help you. Susan Lynn did a great video on this yesterday, I believe. She felt that in blue states, the states themselves will step in to fill some of the gap. Red states, yeah. So look at options, be open to options, regardless of what they are. And prepare as you can, and if it means you can save a little bit of money, get some extra medication in, another couple of months worth, as much as you're allowed to get in at any given time, or even go and see your GP and talk to them about, can you give me a script for 6 months or something instead of the usual monthly one? Yeah, and suss out the food banks in your area. You don't need to be belonging to any particular organisation, but suss them out, see what's available, because it's time to buckle up that 4-point harness. Okay, love to you all. Take care. Bye-bye.